We all have dreams. Some are loud, like the desire to build a business, buy a home, or make a name for ourselves. Others are quiet, the wish to find peace, confidence, or true connection. But between what we want and what we have lies the space where most people get stuck. That space is filled with doubt, fear, impatience, and uncertainty. The truth is, manifesting and achieving anything you truly want isn't about luck or magic. It's about alignment, aligning what you think, what you believe, and what you do. Manifestation starts with clarity. You can't hit a target you can't see. Most people say they want success, happiness, or freedom, but those are vague ideas. You need to define what they mean to you. Write it down, picture it, feel it. When you become specific, your mind starts to build a roadmap toward that image. The brain doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality. It responds to focus. So if your thoughts are scattered, your actions will be too. But if your focus is sharp, your behavior begins to align automatically with your vision. Then comes belief. You can't manifest what you don't believe you deserve. So many people carry hidden resistance. They say they want something, but deep down they doubt it's possible. Belief is the foundation of achievement. When your inner voice says, "I'm not ready," or "I'm not enough," it's not truth, it's protection. Your brain tries to keep you safe by avoiding failure. But safety and success never live in the same place. To manifest anything, you must reprogram that voice from fear to faith. Tell yourself, "I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm becoming," because the mind follows the direction of your dominant belief. But belief without action is daydreaming. You can visualize every day and still stay stuck. Manifestation is not passive, it's active. It's the art of combining vision with execution. Every small decision is a seed. The habits you practice daily, the books you read, the people you surround yourself with, the thoughts you repeat, all feed your manifestation. You attract what you prepare for. If you're asking for opportunities but not building the skill to handle them, you're not ready yet. The universe doesn't reward wishful thinking, it rewards readiness. And when things get hard, because they will, that's when most people quit. The gap between desire and achievement is filled with tests. The moments you want to give up are the moments you're closest to growth. Persistence transforms dreams into results. You don't manifest by waiting for the right time. You manifest by showing up every time, even when it's uncomfortable. Your consistency tells life that you mean it. Lastly, gratitude completes the process. Gratitude turns your focus from what's missing to what's working. It raises your energy and strengthens your belief. When you're thankful for small progress, you attract bigger opportunities. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a signal to your subconscious mind that abundance already exists. And when you act from abundance, not lack, you naturally attract more of what you desire. So, how do you manifest and achieve anything you truly want? You align clarity, belief, action, persistence, and gratitude. You don't chase the outcome. You become the person capable of creating it. Because true manifestation isn't about getting something outside of you. It's about awakening something within you. 5 keynotes of the speech: clarity creates direction, define what you truly want in vivid, specific detail. Belief shapes reality. You can't attract what you secretly doubt. Action activates manifestation. Vision without consistent effort leads nowhere. Persistence builds results. Growth happens through consistency, not comfort. Gratitude amplifies abundance. Focusing on progress multiplies opportunity. Clarity creates direction. It sounds simple, but it's the single most important factor in turning a dream into something real. Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they lack clarity. They confuse being busy with being driven. They chase everything and end up catching nothing. Clarity acts like a compass. It doesn't move you forward by itself, but it tells you exactly where forward is. Without it, every decision feels uncertain, every step feels hesitant, and every path seems like it could be the wrong one. Think about it. How many times have you said you want success, happiness, or financial freedom, but when you ask yourself what that actually looks like, you pause? The mind cannot chase an idea it doesn't understand. Success for one person might mean building a company. For another, it might mean more time with family. Happiness could be traveling the world, or it could be peace in your own home. Until you define it for yourself, you're working towards someone else's vision, not your own. Clarity begins with self-inquiry, the courage to ask, what do I truly want? And the honesty to sit with the answer. When you become specific, your energy becomes focused. The brain loves direction. It filters information based on what you tell it to care about. It's the reason why when you decide you want to buy a certain car, you start seeing that car everywhere. That's not magic. It's the reticular activating system in your brain focusing on what matters to you. When you clearly define your goals, your mind begins to notice opportunities, ideas, and connections that align with them. It becomes like a radar tuned to your desires. The clearer the signal, the stronger the detection. But clarity doesn't only mean knowing the goal. It means understanding the why behind it. Why do you want what you want? When your reasons are shallow, status, approval, or comparison, you lose motivation when things get difficult. But when your reason is rooted in meaning, you stay steady. The why gives your goal emotional power. It turns discipline into devotion. Without that emotional connection, your efforts feel forced. With it, your journey feels purposeful, even when it's challenging. Clarity also requires stripping away noise. We live in a world that celebrates distraction, notifications, opinions, and endless comparison. You can't think clearly in chaos. The more cluttered your mind is, the harder it becomes to hear your own voice. That's why moments of solitude are essential. Step back, reflect, journal, ask yourself, what matters to me right now? What am I willing to sacrifice for it? Clarity often emerges in silence. It's not discovered in the rush of activity, but in the pause between it. Another part of clarity is deciding what you don't want. Saying yes to everything keeps you trapped in indecision. Every clear yes requires a firm no. When you identify what doesn't align with your values or vision, you stop wasting time on things that drain you. Boundaries protect your focus. Every minute you spend chasing the wrong goal takes you further from the right one. Clarity is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. There's also a hidden strength in admitting that you're unsure. Clarity is not something you have all at once, it's something you refine over time. Many people wait for the perfect plan before they start, but clarity often grows from movement, not meditation. You take a step, you learn, you adjust. Each step forward sharpens your understanding of what you truly want. It's like driving at night, you can't see the entire road, but your headlights reveal enough to keep moving. That's how clarity works. You don't need to know the whole path. You just need to see the next few steps. Once you gain clarity, decisions become easier. You stop second guessing yourself. You don't waste energy wondering if you're doing the right thing because everything you do is aligned with your vision. Your actions have purpose. And purpose brings peace. You no longer chase validation from others because you know exactly where you're headed. People who are clear about their direction radiate calm confidence. They move differently, speak differently, and think differently because they're not lost in confusion. They're guided by intention. Clarity also magnetizes support. When you articulate your vision clearly, people understand how to help you. Opportunities align with those who know what they're looking for. If you walk into a room uncertain about what you want, you walk out with nothing. But when you express your direction with conviction, the right people notice. Clarity not only guides your path, it invites collaboration. Ultimately, clarity is the bridge between desire and achievement. Without it, manifestation feels like guessing. With it, every thought, every action, and every decision becomes a deliberate step toward your goal. The clearer your vision, the faster your progress. Because clarity creates direction, and direction transforms possibility into purpose. Belief shapes reality. Every achievement, every breakthrough, every act of courage begins first in the mind. The moment you believe something is possible, you open the door for it to exist. And the moment you doubt it, you close that same door without realizing it. Belief is not just positive thinking, it's the foundation upon which every action stands. What you believe about yourself determines how you think, how you feel, and ultimately what you do. You can have all the tools, all the talent, and all the knowledge in the world, but if your belief system whispers that you're not good enough, you'll find a way to prove it true. From a young age, we absorb beliefs about who we are and what we can achieve. Some of them empower us, while others limit us. We're told what's realistic, what's too ambitious, what we should or shouldn't aim for. These beliefs get stored deep in our subconscious, and without questioning them, we begin to live according to someone else's limits. We might say, I can't do that. Or people like me don't get those chances, not because it's true, but because we've been conditioned to think so. The first step toward changing your life is recognizing that every belief you hold is a choice. It might not have started as your choice, but it can end as one. Belief isn't blind optimism. It's trust built through evidence. When you take small steps and follow through, your mind starts to gather proof that you're capable. That proof becomes confidence. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. And belief is the construction site where that building begins. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you do something uncomfortable and survive it, you reinforce a new identity, one that says, I can. Slowly, your belief shifts from possibility to certainty. But belief isn't only about thinking you can do something. It's also about believing that you deserve to. This is where most people get stuck. They can imagine success, but they don't feel worthy of it. They carry guilt, shame, or comparison, believing that abundance is for others, not for them. Yet the truth is, you can only attract what you feel worthy of receiving. If deep down you don't believe you deserve love, you'll push it away when it comes. If you don't believe you deserve success, you'll sabotage yourself when opportunities appear. You don't get what you want, you get what you believe you're worthy of. Changing belief takes awareness and repetition. The mind believes what it hears most often. So if your internal dialogue is full of self-doubt, it becomes your reality. Every time you say it, I can't, your brain takes it as a command. But when you start saying, I'm learning, I'm improving, or I'm capable, your brain begins to search for ways to make that true. The words you repeat become the instructions your subconscious follows. That's why affirmations, when practiced with emotion and consistency, can reshape your mindset. They're not magic, they're programming. However, belief is tested most when life gets difficult. It's easy to believe in yourself when things are going right. It's much harder when everything falls apart. But that's when belief matters most. Growth doesn't happen in comfort, it happens in uncertainty. When challenges come, belief becomes your anchor. It tells you that setbacks aren't signals to quit, but invitations to grow. If you can hold on to your belief through the storm, you'll emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. Belief also requires courage, the courage to look foolish, to fail, to start again. The world often rewards visible success, but forgets to honor invisible faith. No one sees the countless moments when you choose to keep going despite doubt. But those are the moments that define you. Every great inventor, artist, or leader faced disbelief, sometimes from others, sometimes from themselves. What separated them from everyone else wasn't talent, it was belief. They kept going even when there was no evidence that they would succeed. To believe in yourself doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means acknowledging obstacles but refusing to let them define your limits. It means looking at a challenge and saying, yes, this is hard, but I am capable of finding a way. When you believe this deeply enough, your actions start to change. You take more chances, you speak with more conviction, and you handle setbacks with more grace. People who believe in themselves don't wait for permission, they create opportunities. And here's something powerful: belief is contagious. When you truly believe in what you're doing, others start to believe in it too. People are drawn to conviction. They feel your energy, your certainty, your trust in your mission. That's how leaders inspire, not by demanding belief from others, but by embodying it themselves. At its core, belief is a decision. A daily choice to trust yourself even when the outcome is unclear. A choice to replace fear with faith, doubt with determination. When your belief aligns with your effort, reality begins to bend in your favor. Because you don't manifest what you wish for. You manifest what you believe you can create. Action activates manifestation. You can dream, visualize, and plan all you want, but until you move, nothing changes. Action is the bridge between your desire and your result. It's where manifestation stops being an idea and becomes a reality. Many people get stuck in the thinking phase. They read, they visualize, they affirm, but they never take consistent steps. The truth is, you cannot think your way into a new life. You must act your way into one. Thought gives direction, but action gives life. Every major achievement begins with a single small action. Yet that first step is often the hardest because it exposes you to fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of doing it wrong. But action has a way of dissolving fear. The moment you start, your focus shifts from anxiety to execution. You stop overanalyzing and start learning. You realize that progress doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from making the moment perfect through movement. Waiting for everything to be ready is the biggest illusion. You'll never feel fully prepared. Action creates readiness. Manifestation is not a wish list. It's a process of alignment. When your actions align with your intentions, you send a powerful signal to your subconscious mind and to the world that you're serious about your goal. If you say you want to be fit but keep skipping workouts, your brain sees that your words and actions don't match and it stops believing you. But when you take even small steps, like showing up to the gym, preparing your meals, or waking up early, your brain begins to trust you. That trust strengthens belief, and belief fuels more action. It becomes a cycle of momentum, one that transforms effort into results. People often confuse manifestation with luck, but manifestation is built on preparation. You attract what you're ready for. If you desire an opportunity but haven't built the skill or discipline to handle it, life withholds it. Not as punishment, but as protection. Every action you take today is preparation for what you've been asking for. You can't attract abundance while living in habits of scarcity. You can't attract love while acting from insecurity. You can't attract success while avoiding responsibility. Your daily actions must reflect the life you say you want. Otherwise, manifestation remains a fantasy instead of a future. Small, consistent actions compound into transformation. You don't need giant leaps, you need daily steps. Success is not created in one big moment. It's built through hundreds of small decisions that no one sees. The emails you send, the conversations you start, the hours you practice, the discipline you repeat. Manifestation isn't glamorous, it's persistence disguised as purpose. And what's fascinating is that once you begin to take consistent action, life starts meeting you halfway. Unexpected doors open. The right people appear. Opportunities seem to come out of nowhere. But they weren't random, you just became ready to see them. There's also a deeper truth about action. It builds clarity. So many people wait for clarity before taking action, but clarity often comes after you move. Each action gives feedback. You learn what works, what doesn't, what excites you, what drains you. Every step you take reveals more of the path ahead. If you stay still, you stay confused. Movement brings awareness. Even mistakes move you forward because they teach you something that inaction never could. In this way, failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Another key element of action is consistency. Taking action once feels good, but it's consistency that turns it into a lifestyle. The brain thrives on repetition. It interprets repeated actions as priorities. So when you act consistently, even in small ways, your brain begins to rewire itself around that behavior. Soon, what once felt like discipline becomes identity. You're no longer trying to act successful. You simply are the kind of person who takes the actions that lead to success. Consistency transforms habits into identity, and identity sustains manifestation. Of course, not all actions are equal. Many people stay busy but not productive. They fill their days with motion but no progress. Real action isn't about activity, it's about alignment. Before you act, ask yourself, does this move me closer to what I want? Or is it just keeping me comfortable? The right actions often feel uncomfortable because they stretch you. Growth demands energy. Comfort preserves the familiar. Manifestation happens outside your comfort zone because that's where change begins. And yet there will be days when taking action feels impossible, when your motivation fades, when results seem invisible, when you question why you started. That's when discipline must step in. Motivation is emotion-based, discipline is decision-based. You can't always control how you feel, but you can always choose what you do. Show up even when you don't feel like it. Those are the actions that define your future. The world doesn't reward intention, it rewards execution. Every time you act, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Those votes accumulate over time, shaping your destiny. One small action doesn't seem like much in the moment, but it creates ripples. The call you make, the page you write, the workout you finish, each one tells the universe, I'm serious about this. And that seriousness turns dreams into movement, movement into momentum, and momentum into manifestation. In the end, manifestation is not waiting for a sign, it's becoming one. Every action you take declares your faith in your vision. And when you act in alignment with what you desire, the world responds in kind, because nothing manifests until you do. Persistence builds results. It's one of the most overlooked truths in the process of achieving anything meaningful. People love the excitement of starting, setting goals, making plans, feeling inspired, but few love the discipline of continuing. Persistence is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. It's what keeps you moving when the excitement fades and the obstacles appear. No matter how gifted or intelligent you are, if you don't persist, you stop growing. Because success doesn't come to those who start strong, it comes to those who stay consistent. Every dream goes through 3 stages. The first is enthusiasm. Everything feels exciting and full of possibility. The second is struggle, where doubt, fatigue, and resistance show up. The third is reward, but most people never make it past the second stage. They give up when progress slows, when the outcome feels uncertain, or when effort doesn't immediately pay off. Yet persistence means showing up even when the results are invisible. It's continuing the race even when you can't yet see the finish line. That's the point where most people turn back, but those who keep going discover that the finish line was closer than they thought. Persistence is not about blind stubbornness. It's about patient consistency. It's not doing the same thing over and over without learning. It's adapting without quitting. The road to any worthwhile goal is never straight. It twists, it tests, it demands. The people who make it are not the ones who never fall, but the ones who refuse to stay down. Every setback teaches something new if you have the persistence to look for the lesson instead of the excuse. The ability to keep going, to adjust, and to trust the process. That's what builds resilience. There's a reason persistence feels uncomfortable. Growth requires resistance. Just like muscles grow by enduring tension, your character grows through persistence. Every challenge strengthens your endurance. Every time you push past fatigue or doubt, you build internal power. Most people look for motivation to keep going, but motivation is fleeting. Persistence is a choice. It's what you rely on when motivation disappears. You may not always feel inspired, but you can always choose to act. Discipline keeps you moving when your emotions try to hold you back. In the pursuit of your goals, you'll face long periods where nothing seems to be working. Those are the moments that test your belief. It's easy to persist when progress is visible, but real persistence is doing the work in silence. It's writing when no one's reading, practicing when no one's watching, improving when no one's praising you. These quiet efforts compound over time until the results suddenly become visible. And then everyone calls it success. But success is never sudden. It's built in the dark through persistence. There's also a psychological shift that happens when you persist long enough. At first, you're chasing the goal. But after a while, the process itself begins to shape you. You become stronger, more disciplined, more patient. The journey starts to matter as much as the destination. You realize that persistence is not just a strategy for success. It's a way of becoming. You stop asking, how long will it take? And start saying, however long it takes, I'll keep going. That mindset turns effort into identity. You're no longer someone who tries, you're someone who continues. Most people quit not because they can't achieve their goal, but because they underestimate how long it takes. The world rewards endurance, not intensity. Anyone can work hard for a week. Few can stay consistent for years. But the truth is, every small effort counts. Even on your worst days, showing up matters. Persistence isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. Every time you show up, you're reaffirming your commitment. You're telling the universe, I'm still here, and I still mean it. And that kind of commitment moves mountains. There's something magnetic about people who persist. They exude quiet confidence, not because they have all the answers, but because they trust their capacity to figure things out. Persistence builds faith, not just in the goal, but in yourself. You start to realize that no challenge is permanent and no failure is final. Each setback is a setup for a comeback, but only if you stay long enough to see it unfold. Persistence teaches patience, or impatience brings wisdom. It's also important to remember that persistence doesn't mean doing everything alone. It means staying committed even when you need help, even when you must slow down, even when you take detours. Resting is not quitting. Adjusting is not giving up. True persistence is flexible. It bends, but it doesn't break. The people who persist are not the strongest or the smartest. They're the ones who refuse to stop. They don't wait for inspiration or permission. They move forward one small step at a time, trusting that every effort counts. When you look at anyone who's achieved greatness, an athlete, an entrepreneur, an artist, you'll see one common trait: persistence. Not perfection, not luck, but the relentless decision to keep showing up. They've faced rejection, failure, exhaustion, and doubt, yet they kept going. Because persistence doesn't guarantee success, but quitting guarantees failure. Every step forward, no matter how small, builds momentum. And that momentum eventually transforms effort into excellence. So persistence builds results not because it makes the journey easier, but because it makes you stronger. It molds you into the kind of person who can handle success when it finally comes. And in that process, you discover that persistence was never just about reaching the goal. It was about becoming unstoppable on the way there. Gratitude amplifies abundance. It's one of the most powerful forces you can cultivate, yet it's also one of the most overlooked. Most people wait to feel grateful until something big happens, until they achieve a goal, earn a promotion, or receive recognition. But gratitude isn't meant to be a reaction. It's meant to be a mindset. It's the act of noticing what's already working in your life, even when things aren't perfect. Because when you shift your focus from what's missing to what's present, you raise your emotional vibration, your energy, and your ability to attract more of what you desire. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel good. It rewires your brain to see abundance instead of lack. When you constantly focus on what's wrong, your mind starts filtering the world through scarcity. You begin to see only the gaps, the delays, the flaws. That's why so many people live in a constant state of frustration. They believe they'll feel happy when something changes. But happiness doesn't come from having more. It comes from appreciating more. Gratitude flips that internal switch. It trains your brain to focus on what's right. And when your thoughts change, your emotional state follows. The science behind it is clear. Consistent gratitude practices increase dopamine and serotonin, the chemicals responsible for joy and calm. In other words, gratitude doesn't wait for abundance. It creates it. Gratitude also changes your relationship with your goals. When you're ungrateful, you chase achievement out of desperation, trying to fill a void. But when you approach your goals with gratitude, you're not chasing something to complete you. You're expanding something that's already full. You stop running after success as if it's somewhere outside of you, and you start attracting it because it reflects what's already inside of you. The energy you carry while pursuing something matters just as much as the action itself. When you move from a place of frustration, you repel opportunities. When you move from gratitude, you magnetize them. The truth is, gratitude doesn't ignore challenges, it transforms them. It teaches you to find meaning even in difficulty. When something goes wrong, gratitude asks, what is this teaching me? Instead of, why is this happening to me? That shift from victimhood to growth changes everything. Because in every obstacle lies an opportunity to evolve. Gratitude gives you the perspective to see it. It doesn't erase pain or struggle, but it makes them bearable. It reminds you that even in the darkest moments, there's still something to hold on to, a lesson, a connection, a chance to begin again. And gratitude doesn't just stay inside you, it radiates outward. When you live with gratitude, people feel it. It makes you more patient, more compassionate, more grounded. Gratitude softens the ego. It takes your focus away from comparison and competition and places it on contribution. You stop asking, why don't I have what they have? And start asking, what can I do with what I have right now? That mindset shift not only brings peace, but also opens doors. People are drawn to those who appreciate, not those who complain. Gratitude builds trust, deepens relationships, and attracts collaboration because it creates a frequency of openness and humility. Practicing gratitude doesn't require grand gestures. It's built in small moments: the morning light through your window, the sound of laughter, the meal in front of you, the lessons hidden in yesterday's mistakes. Writing down 3 things you're grateful for each day might seem simple, but over time it reshapes your entire outlook. You start to notice beauty where you once saw nothing. You begin to value progress instead of perfection. Gratitude slows you down enough to recognize that even on your hardest days, you're still moving forward. One of the most profound effects of gratitude is how it strengthens belief. When you start acknowledging how far you've come, even if you're not yet where you want to be, you remind yourself that you're capable of growth. Gratitude fuels faith. It tells your subconscious mind, look, good things are already happening. And that belief attracts more goodness because your attention is now aligned with abundance. The more you celebrate small wins, the more wins you create. Gratitude doesn't just change your mood, it changes your momentum. There's a deep connection between gratitude and manifestation. The universe, or whatever you believe governs life's energy, responds to appreciation. When you're grateful for what you have, you signal readiness for more. When you're ungrateful, you signal scarcity, and scarcity closes doors. Gratitude is like watering a plant. You nourish what you appreciate, and it grows. You can't expect more blessings while complaining about the ones you already have. Every time you choose gratitude, you multiply your ability to receive. Even in failure, gratitude plays a vital role. Instead of seeing a setback as proof that you're not enough, gratitude reframes it as feedback that you're growing. It helps you appreciate the lessons hidden in loss, the wisdom gained from mistakes, and the strength built through resilience. When you approach failure with gratitude, you stop seeing it as an end and start seeing it as a chapter in your evolution. That mindset allows you to recover faster, learn deeper, and move forward wiser. Ultimately, gratitude reminds you that abundance is not something you chase. It's something you recognize. It's not a destination, it's a perspective. When you live with gratitude, you stop needing life to be perfect before you can enjoy it. You start realizing that you already have more than enough to begin. Gratitude doesn't just amplify what you attract, it amplifies who you become. Because the most abundant people aren't the ones who have everything, they're the ones who see everything as a gift. Manifestation isn't a secret formula or a mystical force, it's a way of living. It's about aligning your thoughts, beliefs, actions, persistence, and gratitude until what you imagine internally becomes what you experience externally. You don't manifest by wishing, you manifest by becoming. When your vision is clear, your belief is strong, your actions are consistent, your persistence unshakable, and your gratitude genuine, the gap between what you desire and what you have begins to close. Every great transformation starts within. The world around you reflects the world inside you. If your inner dialogue is full of fear, doubt, and scarcity, that's the reality you'll continue to see. But when you start to think with clarity, believe with conviction, act with intention, persist with patience, and live with gratitude, you begin to shift your energy. And that shift changes everything. You don't have to know every step right now. You just have to start. The moment you decide to align who you are with what you want, life starts to respond. Opportunities, people, and possibilities begin to appear, not by coincidence, but by resonance. Because life doesn't give you what you wish for, it gives you what you're ready for. So if you truly want to manifest and achieve anything in life, don't just focus on the goal. Focus on becoming the kind of person who can hold it, nurture it, and grow it. Build the mindset before the milestone, the faith before the finish line. The world doesn't change when your dreams come true. It changes when you do. And once you change, everything you've ever wanted starts finding its way to you, naturally, powerfully, and inevitably.